Last night, at exactly 17 AM, my phone rang. The number on the screen was my own. Not similar, identical. Same country code. Same digits I have on my business cards. I stared at it until it stopped. Then a voicemail appeared. I pressed play. At first, just breathing. Then my own voice said, 10 seconds after this message ends, someone will knock on your front door. Don't open it. I almost laughed. A spoofed number and a voice filter. Unsettling, sure, but nothing paranormal. Then came the knock. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. 10 seconds after the message ended. I live alone on the 7th floor. The building's entrance locks at midnight, and the elevator had been broken all week. I crept to the door and looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. My phone rang again. My own number. This time, I answered. Don't speak, my voice said immediately. It doesn't know if you're home yet. I stayed silent. Turn off every light in the apartment. I should have hung up. Instead, I obeyed. The moment the last lamp died, something dragged a fingernail down the outside of my front door. The sound was slow, uneven, as if the finger had too many joints. Good, the voice whispered. Now go to the bedroom. Don't look into any mirrors. I walked with my eyes on the floor. Passing the bathroom, I heard a soft tap against the glass. Then another. Something was tapping from the wrong side of the mirror. I entered the bedroom and shut the door. Get under the bed, my voice instructed. I froze. There isn't enough room. There will be. I knelt. The storage boxes that had always been there were gone. In their place, a deep black opening stretched far beyond the wall. The smell of wet soil and old breath drifted out. I refused to crawl inside. The voice on the phone sighed. That's what I did too. What do you mean? I whispered. The line went silent. Then my own voice screamed. Why did you answer me? Every door in the apartment slammed shut. My phone spoke again. From now on, whatever you hear, do not answer in your own voice. A child started crying inside my wardrobe. Dad, she whispered. Please let me out. I don't have a daughter. The wardrobe doors shook. Dad, there's someone in here with me. I covered my mouth. The crying stopped. Something inside sniffed the air. Then it spoke in my mother's voice. She had been dead for 11 years. Daniel, it said gently. I'm frightened. My hand tightened around the phone. Don't listen, my voice warned. It tries the dead first. The wardrobe doors opened on their own. No one was inside. Only my clothes, hanging still in the darkness. Then I saw the feet. Two bare feet beneath the longest coat, facing the wrong direction. The thing hidden among my clothes whispered in my mother's voice. Tell me you remember what you did. I couldn't breathe. Nobody knew about the accident. Nobody knew I was driving. My mother took the blame because I was 17. She told the police she lost control. She protected me, even after the crash left her unable to walk. She died 3 years later. The official cause was an infection. But I knew why she stopped taking her medication. Tell me, the wardrobe demanded. My lips parted. The voice on the phone shouted. Don't answer. The thing stepped out. It wore my mother's nightgown. But its body was too tall, too thin. Long grey hair hid its face. With each step, its backward feet cracked and twisted around to follow. I stumbled toward the door. Where do I go? I asked the phone. The creature stopped. The line went perfectly quiet. I had spoken in my own voice. The figure lifted its head. There was no face beneath the hair. Only a phone pressed into a cavity where its mouth should have been. From that phone came my own voice. Now it knows which one you are. I ran into the hallway. In the mirror by the entrance, my reflection wasn't running. It stood still, shaking its head slowly, pointing at the ceiling behind me. The tall thing in my mother's nightgown was crawling along the ceiling toward me, limbs cracking into unnatural angles. Then my phone screen lit up. A video call. I saw a road at night, filmed from inside a car. Rain on the windshield, headlights sweeping across wet asphalt. I knew that road. I saw my own hands on the steering wheel. 17-year-old hands, knuckles white. In the passenger seat, My mother turned to the camera and said, "Tell me you remember what you did." The car swerved. The screen went black. The creature dropped from the ceiling. I threw the phone at it and tore the front door open. The hallway was empty. At the far end, the elevator door stood open. The elevator that had been broken all week. Inside was a woman facing the corner. She wore a hospital gown. A folded wheelchair leaned against the wall beside her, as if she no longer needed it. "Daniel," she said without turning. "Get in. It won't follow you while I'm here." I knew that voice. I had heard it every day for 17 years, and then never again. Behind me, something walked out of my apartment. I ran into the elevator. The doors closed just before the thing reached us. As we descended, my mother finally turned around. She had a face, her real face, tired, kind, exactly as I remembered it from the hospital. "It came for you the night of the accident," she said quietly. "Up to 17. That's when the car hit the barrier. That's when it always comes." The floor numbers changed. 7-6. It only wants one thing. A confession, spoken aloud, in your own voice. That's how it takes you. She looked down at her hands. So I answered it first. I told it I was driving. It believed me. They always believe a confession. 5. It took my legs that night. Then, slowly, everything else. But it never touched you. She smiled the way she used to smile when she was lying about the pain. That was the trade. 4. But trades expire, Daniel. 11 years. Then it comes back to check who was really behind the wheel. 3. It will keep coming. Every night, up to 17. And if it can take you too, it will wait for someone you love. The way I couldn't let it wait for you. 1. The elevator stopped. The doors opened onto my bedroom. Someone was asleep in my bed. It wasn't me. It was a boy, maybe 10 years old. I had never seen him before. But he had my mother's nose, and my hands. And when he stirred in his sleep, he mumbled a word that sounded like Dad. A son I don't have. A son I might, someday. The phone on the nightstand lit up and began to ring. The number on the screen was his own. The boy reached for it. "It tries the future too," my mother whispered behind me. "If there's no one left in the past." I stepped out of the elevator. I picked up the phone before the boy could touch it. And for the first time in 11 years, I answered in my own voice. "I was driving," I said. "It was me. It was always me." The line was silent for a long moment. Then something on the other end exhaled, slow and satisfied, and my own voice, calm, almost gentle, replied. Finally, the bedroom dissolved. The boy, the bed, the elevator, my mother's face, everything folded into darkness. And the darkness smelled of wet soil and old breath. I'm writing this from under the bed. I don't know whose bed. The space down here is bigger than it should be, and somewhere far above me, I can hear footsteps in an apartment that used to be mine. My phone still works. It only makes one kind of call. Tonight, at 17, it will dial a number. Someone will look at their screen and see their own number calling. And when they listen to the voicemail, they'll hear their own voice, because down here, that's the only voice the phone lets you use. If that someone is you, I need you to understand. The voice on the phone isn't the monster. It's someone like me, trying to keep you alive the way someone once kept me alive. Follow the instructions. Stay quiet. Stay hidden. And no matter what it shows you, no matter what it knows about you, remember the only rule that matters. Don't answer in your own voice, unless you're ready to pay for what you did.